It's not the racial commentary that got everybody's feathers all rustled. No, no, no. Most people agreed with that. It's not the trans issues that he was talking about a couple of years ago. For the most part, people are on side with him. It's this specific situation, the pet bugaboo, the third rail when it comes to commentary. It sure would seem right now, but if Dave Chappelle's going to get canceled off of anything, it's about simply, reporting the facts about what's going on currently in the Middle East. Listen, have you not paid attention to what his stand-up routine has been for a very, very long time? Everybody thinks of Dave Chappelle, and they immediately jump to, well, I guess if you're of a certain age, perhaps, mostly people would kind of think of him as kind of a cross between, especially when it comes to the stand-up sphere, probably more or less in today's day and age, a cross between George Carlin and Richard Pryor for, kind of his legacy material and more of his cultural commentary when it comes to being kind of a George Carlin-esque figure, which is, of course, if you're a stand-up comedian, very high praise. I was never much of a fan of Dave Chappelle's stand-up. Of course, every single time that I mention the guy, I'm obviously like I'm looking just off screen, okay? I've got my collection of the Chappelle Show, the best of, the lost episodes. I got everything that's over there, and thankfully, it's physical media. Nobody can touch that. Nobody can rewrite it when ultimately he gets canceled. And yeah, this is the thing right now, okay? It's so wild. Like, this guy has talked about everything, and you know what, I like him for the fact that he stays consistent, okay? Whenever he's thinking, whatever his opinion is on something, Christ almighty, like, I didn't like that he had that George Floyd special, and then with those, have you guys seen this? It's been going around lately. Have you seen this lately? For whatever reason, the medical examiner's report of George Floyd is circling around again. It's like, yeah, we know he died of a fentanyl overdose. There was no physical marks on his body that ended up leading to him dying. It's like, yeah, we know he overdosed, but that was circulating over the weekend, and I seen that, and it's like, is this deja vu? Did I also end up getting choked out? Did I have a knee on my neck for 9 minutes? But for whatever reason, now it's coming back again, and it's like, no, we seen this before the trial even kicked off a couple of years ago. But no, Dave Chappelle bought that line, all hook, line, and sinker, and one of his 2020 comedy specials was the 9 minutes, and I forget the official George Floyd number. I'm sure it'll probably be a hate symbol if it's forgotten, gone too soon, wasn't too much to have the golden caskets, the multiple city tour funerals with Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, and Ben Crump all in tow, everybody grifting off of that. But Dave Chappelle, he thought one way about it. He had his 9-minute and some odd long comedy special, his stand-up routine. It just so happened to time out exactly on that he did on his place out in Ohio or something like that. Like, yeah, you might not agree with him on certain things, but he has the right to say them. That's where I'm at this point in time. I have my opinions on stuff. You guys have your opinions on stuff, but I'm just the guy with the microphone, with the webcam, expressing my opinions. Dave Chappelle obviously does it on a much higher level. I just want to know what he had to say about this, okay? Because every time we come across somebody getting canceled, getting fired, I take a look at what they're canceled or fired over, and I go, yeah, that's kind of stupid. It's like, I can see where you're trying to make a joke there, but there was one that I seen over the weekend, and while it wouldn't necessarily pass the Brandenburg test when it comes to free speech being a direct pointed attack, it got awfully close. And it's it was another professional class job somebody ended up losing, but it's like, I can understand it sort of. That's about as close as it gets. And there were some people that were arrested at a protest over the weekend as well. So yeah, there's violence that happens. I understand. I'm not trying to whitewash any of this stuff. I'm just trying to report the facts. So speaking of which, what's Dave Chappelle on? Dave Chappelle fans walk out after he blasts Israel's war crimes, in Gaza, pro-Palestinian losing job offers. Losing job offers. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. They weren't laughing. Yes, because this isn't a laughing matter. Okay, there's 40 beheaded babies after all. Comedian Dave Chappelle criticized the United States for backing Israel's war crimes against Palestinians during a live performance in Boston Thursday. In liberal-ass Boston. Very interesting. I could understand if you were getting booed in New York for a very obvious reason, but Boston. That's interesting. Prompting some audience members to walk out, according to a report. The controversial comic made the remarks during a show at TD Garden on Thursday. Chappelle condemned Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel that left some 1,400. That's interesting because here's the official stats that Israel just put out. What was that, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And 782 was the number that I counted on that. Not quite at that 1,400 mark either. And as for the other crimes that are being alleged as well, fuck it, we might as well pull this up at this point in time because I got a bunch of shit here, son. And yeah, when it comes to hostages getting graped, by the way, there's some more fake news that's out there, intentionally mistranslated, actually says the opposite. Leave her. This is a female civilian. Don't do anything with her. Leave her. Return to her place. Still waiting for the evidence of all these claims. Yeah, exactly. 1,400. And then you've got the actual number and not quite close. But as for babies, though, startling number of 0 to 3-year-olds dead. 0, which I'm super happy for, man. Like not anybody on that list. I guess I must have carried 1 or something like that because it's actually 682. So I got real close. I carried an extra 100. Okay, well, it's not quite as bad as saying 1,400. Yeah, but still, what happened? 40 beheaded babies. I thought that was news and something that you can't joke about at all whatsoever. And we got proof of that. So that also calls into question. Hey, Benny boy, what about that charge? Maybe that's got to be a part of the 248, right? Even though, you see something that's about the size of a pot roast, you could only assume that it's, between the ages of 0 and 3. But yeah, no. A few lies getting, debunked right there. But yeah, that's from Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper. So yeah, that comes from like an official ass resource, don't mind any of that, but blasted what he claimed were Israel's war crimes in Gaza. Yeah, do we have to see the bombs that have taken out a large swath of apartment buildings, more attacks called in on hospitals, and a brand new one, which we'll probably be talking about tomorrow. And I got a little bit, fuck it, since we're here. We here now, boys. Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza warned twice in 30 minutes to evacuate, strike imminent. 1,200 refugees, 400 patients. Plan to bomb another hospital. That's the outcry if they deny it. But no, man. We told them. We gave you guys the heads up. Okay, you can go ahead and evacuate, but we told you in 30 minutes we're going to be bombing the place, so you couldn't get 12,000 people out of there, like Israeli warplanes bombing the vicinity of Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza right now. Haven't seen any updates of this so far. This came out in on and around a couple of hours ago from the time that I pulled up this article to the time of recording, but yeah, it's probably not going to be good in a couple hours' time. And yeah, these are the people inside the hospital right now. And yeah, as you can see, there's a fair amount of women. There's a fair amount of kids. There's also a fair amount of adults, male adults as well. But let me tell you guys, the government, once again, doesn't represent the regular rank and file people. They just want to live in peace, man. They just want to go back to their homes. But oopsie daisy, the Israelis kind of bombed the living fuck out of them, so they don't have anywhere to go. And if they're just going to decide to, we need to go in there and those elite special forces units that we're telling you that we're sending in there to go and actually get the terrorists that are down there, it's just easier to level a couple more hospitals, right? But okay, so that's what Dave Chappelle may or may not be referencing. He's got a couple of reference points, obviously, but what's he saying? The brouhaha, no, get it, started when a member of the audience told Chappelle to shut up after he said he didn't think people should lose their jobs for supporting Palestinians. Wow, very controversial take. For supporting Palestinian people, you shouldn't lose your job. Shut up. Good refutation that you have there. And yeah, like you're saying, supporting Palestinians, supporting innocent people. Yeah, I think, isn't that fairly all right? Oh, no, right. Wrong type of brown people to support. I understand. According to the Journal, Chappelle, in response, criticized the Israeli government's decision to cut off food, water, and electricity to Gaza. Exactly. Still hasn't been opened up. 17 trucks for 2 million people have been allowed into Gaza so far. And just came in, I think, yesterday or something like that. That's it so far when it comes to aid. But don't worry, Biden's cutting them a check. $100 million. I'm sure it'll be used. He also accused Israel of killing innocent civilians and committing war crimes, according to the report. Again, do we need to pull up any more pictures, or do we get the fucking point? He's making salient observations. not necessarily funny, but you have to deal with a heckler when they show up, so to each their own. But yeah, Palestinians inspect the damage overnight, Israeli strikes, and yeah, it was just, nobody was killed in that. No, and obviously those were both everything in the area. Yeah, and everybody that's down there, clearly, those are just Hamas, including all of the actual kids that are down there. More than 4,300 Palestinians have been killed in the conflict. As Israeli defense forces have relentlessly pummeled the enclave with more than 6,000 bombs. Israel Defense Force, killing 4,300 Palestinians. All of them, obviously, ardent Hamas supporters. Those dead include women and children, according to Palestinian authorities. And yeah, we've actually got the receipts of that, okay? I won't show you this because I want to keep this more on the meme side of things. We'll probably talk about travesties tomorrow. Other members in the audience cheered and shouted free Palestine, while others shot back, what about Hamas? Yeah, what about ism? Okay, if that's the best that you got, understand, these used to be the tactics that were mocked and ridiculed by the same people that were all going free speech, until of course you want to go ahead and criticize our greatest ally. Then all of a sudden, all of those leftist tactics just magically appear under fair play for everybody. Unbelievable. Some members of the audience walked out after the raucous moment. I'm surprised if they're pro-Israeli, they would forfeit paying such a high price for a ticket to show up to the comedy show. But again, it's like, if you're going to be so easily offended by somebody who so famously talks about current events, why the fuck are you showing up to the show? It makes no sense at all. Toward the end of the show, Chappelle reportedly said that two wrongs don't make a right in reference to Hamas attacks and Israel's subsequent military response. Yeah, exactly. You should just also, be asking another question. Who stormed the mosque on October 5th? But that's all right. We'll get back around to that some point in time, I'm sure. A spokesperson for Chappelle told the outlet the comedian denies being in Boston that night, despite the show being listed among his dates by ticket outlets. Yeah, of course, but no, apparently whoever was up on stage that night was making some very honest observations. It's like, yeah, kill innocent people are wrong. Boo, you're being anti-Semitic. What the fuck did you just admit to? But no, they'll go ahead from afar and make these critiques, okay? And even still, if you come up close, even though Dave Chappelle looks like, I don't know, maybe he's been hitting the gas or something like that, because the boy looking tick and very strong. Pause. But obviously, well, there's also somebody else who also had some comments over the weekend as well. And yesterday there was a rather large fight card that went on. UFC 290, they're getting close to 300 or something like that. I think it's 94 or some shit like that. But in the main event, you had Ivan Volkanovski step in on very, very, very short notice. Very short notice. I think like 11 days notice to step up to, one of the pound for pound goats in Islam. Let me see if I get the name right. Okay, it's been such a long time. Yeah, Volkanovski. Okay. Oh, no, Alexander Volkanovski. He got Mirko Cro-Copped, but Islam Makhachev. Okay, obviously, and you can kind of tell maybe by the first name, what his religion is. But at the same time, these Dagestanis are completely and totally running the game over in the UFC. All they do is pray and train. Like, these guys are absolute beasts. Like, even Khabib Nurmagomedov, Khabib. Before he retired, absolutely running roughshot over everybody. And why do I bring this up? Not because I watched the fight, had any money on it, or had any interest in it, but Islam, after the fight, during the press conference, brings up Israel killing kids and the elderly, saying that Israel's not killing terrorists, they're killing kids and old people. This is crazy. The audio's very, very, very low. I'll link to the video if you'd like to watch it yourself, or you can just go and find the press conference. It's still on YouTube. That was obviously a screen capture of it, but yeah, that's what he says after being asked by a reporter in the crowd what he thinks about the situation going on right there. And yeah, he has a very level-headed response to that. And yeah, as you can see, the IDF doing an exceptionally good job of bombing civilian locales, and then ex post facto saying that, no, we actually didn't do it, and here's a crystal clear audio recording that we managed to intercept. So funny. They wanted to go ahead and make this big stink about, no, we didn't bomb that hospital. We're just going to bomb every other hospital, lending more credence to that, very legit refutation that they had. And then also with the self-snitch that no babies died. Very, very strange. But you know what's actually going on down there? Okay, and I'll be completely honest. this is what happens, okay? This is what is going on down there. Don't need to have any sound or anything like that, but you can see, people are... They're not all that different, man. And the way that Mario has this annotated, not every Palestinian is Hamas, not every Israeli soldier hates Palestinians. We, as humans, are 99.9% genetically identical. Seems to forget during times of war. Absolutely 100%. The IDF is not a terrorist group. It's our army. And yeah, in the home school hospital that hosts terrorists in the hospital, at home, at the school, yeah, not the same as the base. A bunch of different, annotations over the top of that. But yeah, these people, man, it wasn't even that long ago, and there they are just dancing back and forth. And you know what? It's kind of great, man. And it's real sad. I couldn't imagine. Okay, it's really tough to accurately put myself in the shoes of anybody in that still frame right there, growing up in such a very high tension part of the world, something where, you've had generations of conflict, and more recently, within the past couple of decades, it really ratchet up. Most of the people there just want to fucking live their life, okay? This is what happens, man. When governments get into power, they get exposed as being weak, ineffectual. They lash out irrationally. That's why we're seeing, what's going on in the Middle East. Take a look at Netanyahu coming over saying, I'm going to promise safety and security for the Israeli people, and then doing absolutely nothing about that. And then all of a sudden, oh no, we didn't know about this attack, even though we knew for 2 years prior. Oh no, we had no idea this was going to happen. Now what we're going to do? Oh, we're going to completely and totally overreact and, wipe out the homes of 1 million people, and then criticize the rest of the world. Why don't you want to take in any refugees? All right, Israel, why aren't you taking in any refugees? Oh, don't want to answer that very tough question. Or Biden. Take a look at Biden. The motherfucker can't even finish a goddamn speech before he ends up going face down on a stage. So yeah, why are we in so many different conflicts around the world? Because these leaders are ineffectual. They're the ones that are actually insecure. So they have to lash out, spend all of your money, and make you put a flag in your bio, make you take a side in these very complicated conflicts, so that you will forget the problems that you have at home. Unfucking believable. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.